This week's US CQM Forecast Alert is financial variables contributed to a large upward revision of real GDP forecast by PCA. Trade statistics have been revised going back to 2018, with their largest revision being to services, export and import. This table compares the updated monthly indicators with the ADIMA forecast from the previous week. This week's CQM forecast is easily guessed to make a downward revision to economic growth on the expenditure side. It is also guessed that PCA makes an upward revision to economic growth. As a result, the growth rate on the expenditure side was revised downward by 0.84% to 1.82%. There was a little change on the expenditure side, and the average growth rate on the expenditure and income side, which is a better indicator of economic growth, was 3.01%. Only the GDP price deflator was revised downwards by 0.02% to 1.85%. Inflation trends will become clearer next week when the May CPI and PPI are updated. The PCA forecast revised the economic growth rate upward by more than 1% from 2.40% to 3.49%. It may be possible that the economic growth will exceed 3% in 2025 Q2, together with the forecast from both sides of the CQM. Meanwhile, the GDP price deflator was revised downward from 2.13% to 1.80%, roughly in line with the CQM forecast. The S&P 500 rose 8.22% in May, well above the ADIMA forecast of 0.35%. Real money supply increased 0.50% in April, beating the ADIMA forecast of 0.13%. The interest rate spread widened to 0.13% in May compared to the ADIMA forecast of minus 0.06%. Agricultural prices fell 5.6% in April, well below the ADIMA forecast of minus 0.93%. The money supply increased 0.72% in May, beating the ADIMA forecast of 0.35%. But the downward effect of agricultural prices on GDP price deflator more than offset the upward effect of money supply. In order to estimate GDP price deflator, PCA uses 6 of the 9 principal components that are statistically significant. Conclusions from this week's US CQM Forecast Alert. The first, there is a possibility that the economic growth rate in 2025 Q2 will exceed 3%. The second, PCA's upward revision of real GDP is due to financial indexes. The third, the growth rate of the GDP price deflator has fallen below 2%. This slide contains additional information about this week's detailed CQM forecast.